Hello and welcome to Thought for the Week. Over the next few weeks running up to the new year, we're going to be using our Open the Book stories to just help inspire and share a thought for the week with you. So you might see the video on Sundays in the service, that's fine. Hopefully the thought will be something a little bit different. And they're all based around the theme of hope. And this week's story is based around the lame man being lowered through the roof. So we're going to watch the video and then I'll see you in just a moment.
The man couldn't walk. He'd never been able to walk. His legs just wouldn't work. When he was younger, he used to hope that one day he might, but not anymore. Now all he could hope for was that his friends would be there to help him, and he was expecting them to show up soon. They'd said they would, and they always had before, so he trusted that they would come this time. Sure enough, they turned up, but something was different. They were really excited and they were carrying a great big blanket.
We're going on a journey,
They said.
and you're coming with us. It'll be great. We promise. We've got a plan.
The man hoped his friends were right, but they'd never let him down before. He could trust them. They laid him on the blanket and then picked him up, one at every corner. For a brief second, he wondered if they would drop him. He hoped not. And then they set off. They were walking for ages and ages and ages, chatting to him excitedly the whole way, telling him all about a man they were going to visit. He'd never heard of him, but his friends were excited, so he guessed it was all right. Eventually, they came to a house, and their faces dropped.
Oh, it's packed.
One said.
We'll never get in.
What a waste of a journey. What do we do now?
I've got an idea.
Said the third, and they all huddled together, whispering. Suddenly they turned round and picked up the blanket and headed for the side of the house. Where are we going? The man cried. We can't get in the house that way.
Trust us!
They all replied. So they carried the man up the stairs to the roof, and when they got there, they started to break through it. The hole was small at first, but soon they made it bigger and bigger until finally they stopped. I hope you know what you're doing, the man said. Someone's sure to be upset.
Trust us!
They all replied. Then they attached ropes to the corner of the blanket and lifted the man into the hole. He hoped their ropes would hold his weight. Slowly they lowered him down until he reached the floor, laid in front of the man they'd come to see, Jesus.
Let me ask you a question. Which is easier? To forgive a man's sins, the mistakes they make, or to heal a man who couldn't walk? Let me show you that God has given me the power to forgive sins. Get up, pick up your blanket, and walk.
The man didn't know what to do. He had hoped for this when he was young, but it was impossible, wasn't it? And his friends had brought him here to Jesus for a reason. He trusted them. Could he trust Jesus too? He'd never know unless he tried. He's hoped his legs would work. And then he stood up. He was so excited he ran all the way home with his friends. He knew he could trust them, and now he knew he could trust Jesus too.
I hope you enjoyed the story. There's a man who's got these friends who take him to see Jesus and he ends up healed. I think that's absolutely incredible. Now, one of the hardest things for us as a family moving here to Congleton is that we left behind all of our friends and our family as well, actually, for that matter. It's been hard, and even harder because of lockdown, where we've not really been able to see people, we've not been able to develop friendships with people that we might get to meet whilst we're here. It's been, to some extent, quite a lonely experience. It must have been really great for the man in the story. He had friends that he could rely on, that he could put his hope and his trust in. They were there when he needed him. They probably would have had to help him move around. They might have invited him for food at their house. He certainly wouldn't have been able to have a job. He would have probably been sat on the streets begging for money. But his friends were there. And one day they do something incredible for him. They take him on a journey. He must have been thinking, what on earth are my friends doing as he went? Particularly when they started going up onto a roof and they started breaking through it to lower him down in front of Jesus. But his friends knew what they were doing. They were good friends, people who wanted to help him, who wanted to love him, who wanted to bless him. They lowered him down in front of Jesus, and Jesus transforms his life. He heals his legs. He got to put his hope and trust in someone new that day. One of the things that's been really challenging for us is we haven't had those close relationships around us for the last few months. We've been pretty isolated. We haven't had those people to share with in the same way as we once did. But what's made it amazing is that although we haven't had human people around us, is we have had a God and a friend who is with us all the time. We can put our hope and trust in earthly people, and they're great. They're amazing. Our friends are wonderful, aren't they? I'm sure you've got some amazing friends as well. And it's easy to put our hope and trust in them because we see the way they respond to that. They invite us round for dinner, they come and play a board game, they pick us up from school, they meet us after work for a drink. They do all sorts of things, they're part and parcel of our lives. Maybe it's a little bit harder to put our hope and trust in someone like Jesus, but for us, having done that a long time ago and having Jesus walk with us every day has given us a sense of confidence that we might not have had if we just relied on our earthly friends, as good as they are. This week I want to encourage you. Do you know what? Lockdown might be a bit lonely for you. You might be missing your family and your friends. But we've got someone who can walk with us every day, who gives us strength, who encourages us both in our spirit and through the words of the Bible, who faces every challenge with us, who can do miraculous things in our life. It might be scary to put our hope and trust in him, but when we do, God responds. It's a relationship. He's a friend and a father and a saviour that we can put our hope and trust in. And he never goes away. No matter what our circumstances are, he will always be there for us. The lame man had always had his friends from before, and then he got to meet Jesus, and he put his faith and trust in him, and something incredible happened. We're missing our friends. We're missing those relationships. But do you know what? We've got someone who has been with us the whole time. And this week, no matter what you're facing, you might be facing it alone, you might be facing it with friends and family, but do you know what? You can also face it with God as your friend as well. Let's put our hope and trust in someone who will never walk away from us. Thanks for joining us for our thought for the week. I hope it's encouraged you, maybe it's inspired you or challenged you. Look out for the next ones coming over the next few weeks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.